Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pharmacypedia. In this session, we are going to discuss about the parametric test, t-test, very important test among the parametric test. In the previous session, we discussed about the differences between the parametric test and the non-parametric test. So if you have still not subscribed to my channel Pharmacypedia, please do like, share and subscribe to Pharmacypedia for getting further updates and important content related to pharmacy. My dear students, t-test is one of the most important tests which is being used in analysis and is actually based on the hypothesis testing based on students' t-distribution. That is why it is known as the t-test. So one thing you have to understand here is that it is based on hypothesis testing. When I say hypothesis testing, basically there are two types of the hypothesis which we actually test out. First is the null hypothesis and second is the alternative hypothesis. When I say null hypothesis, we actually try to understand that the sample population which we derive from any sort of the population, if we have more than one sample, then it is actually belonging to a single population or it is a different samples. So through the null hypothesis, we actually conclude by testing during the statistical analysis whether we will be accepting the hypothesis or we will be rejecting the hypothesis. So when I talk about the t-test, it is one of the most widely used parametric test for testing of the hypothesis based on students' t-distribution. Initially, it was developed by the William C. Lake Gossett. It is essentially testing the significance of the differences of the mean values when the sample size is small. So, my dear students, you have to memorize one thing. We do conduct the t-test when the sample size is small. And second most important condition is that when the population standard deviation is not available. So you have to keep these two things in your mind, that one, your sample size should be less than 30, and second, in the question you are not provided with the population standard deviation. This is not provided in the question. So when we assume that the we have to conduct t-test, following conditions have to be fulfilled out. So let us understand what are the conditions that need to be fulfilled out in order to carry out the t-test. So basically we assume certain assumptions. The one of the assumption is that the population distribution is normal. Second, the samples are random and independent. Third, the population size of the sample is very small, less than 30, and the population standard deviation is not provided. Now, one of the important thing which is generally being asked also in GPAT is like that, what is the equivalent non-parametric test for the t-test? And the answer is, it is the Mann-Whitney test. Mann-Whitney U test. So basically you can say the t-test is equivalent to non-parametric test of which is Mann-Whitney U test. So when we talk about the t-test calculation, it is very simple. Yes, believe me, my dear student, it is one of the simple tests that we can conduct. We need to take away few values from the questions. We need to understand the formula and then we need to derive it. So it is one of the most simple tests you can say in that terms. So when I say about the t-test, the formula simply says it is the when you are provided with two samples, when you are provided with two things, then you are actually calculating out the difference in the mean. So when, what do you mean by the difference in the means? So when you have any sample, when you have anything, then you calculate out the difference in the mean. And the difference in the mean when it is being divided by the standard errors. Standard errors are the like statistical, we want to know what is the difference between these two group means. So in simple terms, you can say the difference between the group means divided by the variability of the group. Now this is represented by x1 bar minus x2 bar. So x1 bar is the mean for the one group of population, x2 bar is like for the another group of population. So simply difference between the mean group means and divided by the standard error. So by graphically you can say that when you have one normal distribution for one sample and another normal distribution like depicted in blue color and green color over here, so the difference between both of the means divided by the standard error will simply give you the t-test. So t-test formula is basically a ratio. So the top part of the ratio is just the difference between the two means or the averages, and the bottom part is the measure of the variability or the dispersions of the score. So always bear in your mind that there are different types of the t-test, and in all those t-tests, simply you have to calculate first the difference between the two means divided by the variability. So for example, if you have a class, if you conduct a test in your class, if for suppose for mathematics or any other subject, then for one section you may get average mean 40, and in another section you get average mean like 20. So in that difference, that the mean difference is actually 20. So when this 20 is divided by the variability, now here in variability, here we are talking in terms of statistics, we are taking in several factors into consideration like degree of freedoms and all. So like this divided by the statistically you want to prove whether the difference in the mean is significant or not. So like we do the testing, we assume, we have certain assumptions, we want to prove it through the hypothesis. So simply test statistics is simply like you have difference in the mean divided by the standard error. Now you are clear about the formula. Now another test is their Z test. So T test is very similar to Z test. The only difference is that we carry out the T test when the population size is very important, when the sample size is less than 30. If the sample size exceeds more than 30, in that case we do the Z test. So one difference is about the sample size. Another difference is about the standard deviation. In t-test, when we are not provided with the population standard deviation is not known, in that case we conduct the t-test. But if the sample size is large and it is this population standard deviation like in terms of sigma is provided out, in that case we carry out the Z test. So my dear students, you can see the variability, standard error variability through these graphs in blue and green. So you can see high variability, you can see the low variability, you can see the medium variability. So t-test is a hypothesis test of the mean of one or two normally distributed populations. So several types of t-test exist for different situations, but they all use its test statistics that follow a t-distribution under the null hypothesis. So now you know why we carry out the t-test when the population size is less than 30, when the sample size is less than 30, and the standard deviation is not provided in your question, and the standard deviation is unknown. So in that case, we do the t-test. But on the other hand, z-test is done when the population size, sample size is more than 30, and the standard deviation is provided. So, in one way, you can say simply it is used to compare the two samples to determine if they come from the same population or not through the hypothesis testing. So, it is one of the most robust tests against the assumptions of the population normality. So, in other words, with large samples, t-tests are often valid even when the assumption of normality is violated. So it is one of the most robust tests. Talking about the variables, there are different sorts of the variables like dependent samples, which are paired measurements for one set of item. So my dear students, there are various things we understand. When we say the t-test, when we talk about the different types of the t-test, basically they can be from the one population, known as one sample t-test. They can be from two samples, when two samples are provided out and then you are carrying out the t-test. In that case, it is known as, and uh, these two populations are independent to each other. So in that case, it is known as the two sample t-test. And if there is some sort of correlation between the two population, then it is known as the pair t-test. So again, it is very important to know whether your samples are dependent or independent. So if the values in the one sample affect the values in the other sample, then the samples are said to be dependent samples. And if the values in the one sample reveals no information about those of the other samples, then the samples are independent. So I give you an example. For example, if you conduct the test in a class and if you carry the test for the first time, then the results are independent to each other. But if you carry out the same test again on the same set of the students, the results would again be different. Now why different? Because some of the questions would be known to the students. So like it is actually having some sort of dependency here. So they are dependent on each other. Or you can take the example of any drug company which wants to test the effectiveness of a new drug. So for example, for reduction in the blood pressure, so they could collect the data in two ways: sample the blood pressure of the same people before and after the receiving the dose. So this is one set. The two samples are then dependent because they are taken from the same people. So before giving the medication, you are measuring the blood pressure. After giving the medication, you are measuring the blood pressure. So the two samples are dependent because they are taken from the same people. The people with the highest blood pressure in the first sample will likely to have the highest blood pressure in the second sample as well. So like, or the other type can be like, given group of people an active drug and give a different group of people an inactive placebo. So one with the drug, one without the drug, and then we compare the blood pressure differences between these two groups. So these two group samples would like to be independent because the measurements are from different people. So the first case was for the dependent characteristics, the second case was for the independent, because we are deriving the data from different sets of the people. So knowing something about the distribution of the values in the first sample doesn't inform you about the distribution of values in the second. Now, what are the different? What do we understand by degree of freedom? Now, degree of freedom is again very important in t-test. So, the degree of freedom basically refers to the amount of the information your data provides that you can spend to estimate the values of unknown parameters. So, like different degrees of freedom are there. It talks about like variability of the distribution curve. So, the values determined by a number of observations in your samples. So, as far you as you increase your sample size, the more information about the population, and thus increase the degree of freedom in your data. So the larger the size, there would be increase in the degree of freedom values. So t-test is can be categorized into two types. First is the independent, like one sample t-test or two sample t-test, or you can have the paired, where you one variable is dependent on another variable, so known as the paired t-test. So in simple terms, you can take and understand that there are three kinds of the t-test: one sample t-test, two sample t-test, and paired t-test. So an independent t-samples compares the mean of two groups. A paired sample test compares the mean of the same group at different times. That is the paired sample. You are taking the same population, measuring the same thing, but at two different times. And one sample t-test tests the mean of a single group against a known mean. So diagrammatically, you can see here that in one sample t-test, there is a difference between a group and the population. In unpaired t-test, there is a difference between two groups, and paired t-test, there is a difference in a group between 2 points in time. Now let us understand the paired and the unpaired t-test. Paired, the observed data are from the same subject. Like I told you about the example for that newly discovered drug for the blood pressure reduction. So in that case, when we were having the same subjects, we were giving the drug before and after we were measuring the blood pressure. That was the paired. We are taking the samples from the same people. So that will be the paired. And unpaired, where the results of one does not impact. So in that case, we divided the whole group of people into two groups. One was the placebo, and another was the it's to see the effect of the drug. So like we were measuring the blood pressure from different peoples. So the results were unpaired. Now, this is the formula which is being used for the one sample t-test. You can say very simple formula whereby you are like, since you have a single sample, so the x bar minus mu divided by the s square root of n. So here x bar is your mean, which you can calculate from the data. In the question, x bar is first of all calculated out. Then you have the mu, then which is 100 over here, and then s is actually the standard deviation, and n is your sample size. How many number, what was the sample size? Then this is the two sample t-test formula which is being used. So you can say, since there are two samples, so you have two different means. You first calculate the difference between two means, then again the standard error variation calculation through this formula: s1 squared divided by n1 plus s2 squared divided by n2 and whole square root. So however, the sample size of the two groups makes all the difference when it comes to t-test. So how much is the difference in the sample size? You can say n1 is the sample size for the first population, and n2 2 is for the another population. So the reason is that it is the most relevant is the degree of freedom, and which actually determines the role of t-test statistics necessary for the significance. So you can see sample size again very plays a very important role. We always do the t-test when the sample size is less than 30 and we are not known, standard deviation is not provided to us. Now again the formula becomes complex. So this is the standard deviation for the two sample t-test. So you can see first you have to calculate the mean value of the first group, mean value for the second group. Then you are already aware about the size of the first group, sample size for the second group, and you have the standard deviation for the first group and standard deviation for the second group. So the t-test simply signifies the difference between two means divided by the standard error or standard deviation. In terms it is variability, and this is for the pool t-test. Pool t-test becomes little bit more complex, and the formula says like d bar divided by the standard error differences. So t is the difference in the means over a standard error here. So the formula becomes a little bit complex as you have the paired and paired testings for the t-test. My dear students, you should remember one thing over here is that whenever we say sample students t-test or t-test, we have to look for two things. Sample size should be less than 30, and there should be standard deviation is not provided out. The only difference between t-test and z-test is that t-test is carried when the sample size is small. We carry out the z-test when the sample size is large, more than 30. And in t-test, standard deviation is not provided. In case of z, we know the standard deviation for the population. So my dear students, remember the differences between t-test and z-test. Now, one more thing, t-test is equivalent to non-parametric test, Mann-Whitney U-test. So it is like equivalent for this. For every parametric test, you can see there is an equivalent non-parametric parameter as well. So I hope now you are clear about the t-test. One thing I want to mention over here is that we prove the hypothesis. Once we calculate out the t-test values, then we have the tables for this t-test also. So then we see the t-test value from those tables. If we get the t-test, the value which we have calculated is lower than that table value, it simply means we have to reject the hypothesis. And if the value is higher than the observed values in that, we need to reject the hypothesis. And if the value is low, if the value is less than that observed table values, in that we accept the hypothesis. So overall here we are checking out the hypothesis testing only. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please do like, share and subscribe to Pharmacypedia for getting further updates and important content related to pharmacy.